Okay, so thanks again, everybody, for joining today. We are going to talk about supply chain management in Dynamics 365 Business Central. So for those of you who are shipping goods, receiving goods, have a little bit of inventory need, this is a seminar for you. We're just going to go into a high-level overview of some of the capabilities in Business Central. We're not going to deep dive into the full warehouse functionality or planning and forecasting today. That'll be on another session. But this is really just to give you an introduction to some of the features and functions that are available. So right here, I'm logged into Business Central. Again, I'm in an internet browser because this application is a SaaS solution built for the web, built for mobile devices if you're using an app. And here you can see the main screen. I'm logged in as a sales order processor today. So, my role in this demo is to show you from that standpoint of fulfilling sales orders and managing that inventory and completing purchase orders to fill that inventory need. So here you can see, I can see at the top of the screen some of my tasks that are relative to this role. If we scroll down a little bit, we can see the activities. We can see we just have a couple sales orders that are open. They haven't been released yet. There's a couple sales quotes being worked on. And then down here, this is really where we get a little bit of visibility into some of those tasks that I might need to address today. So see, there's about 4 sales orders that are ready to ship. One is partially shipped, and we're doing good. We have some green status here. Nothing is delayed. And so these are all cues and indicators that you can set up as well. So according to, your KPIs or your service levels that you have at your organization, maybe you want to track things with different indicators. Maybe if a delayed status order is there and it's only 3 days delayed, it might still be in a green status, or you can change it to red based on your preferences. But that's kind of your dashboard. And then again, if you scroll down, this is typical of Business Central. You can see some insights, see some open AR on some of your customers, and you can also see some of your top items being sold. And then again, tracking some of these sales orders, seeing trends within your business. So let's go ahead and jump into what we need to take care of today. So we're going to go ahead and go into these sales orders, and some are ready to ship, so I'm going to get working on that. So we can just click there, or again, you can use the menu at the top of the screen. And here you can see, I see my release sales orders, and you can tell right here, there's a little filter field, and this is typical of all the lists in Business Central, where you can filter on these different columns to, bring up the data that's relevant to you. So if we go ahead and click that, we can see on the left-hand panel, a nice little window popped up. And this is kind of comparable to a smart list if you're using other systems, where you can really drill into the fields that you want to filter your data by. So here we can see, it's looking at all of our sales orders that are in this release status. And if you wanted to add additional filters to maybe filter down by customer name, status, anything else, you can go ahead and add those filters right here within the system to bring up the data that's relevant to you. So we'll just go ahead and jump into the sales order. Let's go ahead and close that. And we'll go into a sales order that we are actually going to filter on an open sales order that hasn't been released yet. And this is for our customer, Alpine Ski House. So here you can see it's brought open this sales order window. This is where you would go ahead and create a new sales order or modify these existing ones. And you could see at a glance, it brings up on this right side this fact box. So you can see things related to this customer sales history right here on the screen. See how much activity they've had with you and such. If you scroll down a little bit further, you can see more details like who the customer contact is. And then you can also see things relevant to the sales order. So right now we have this set up for a couple items, and we want to take a look at their availability right here on the side. So we can see at a glance, we have 10 units in stock. 2 are going to be reserved for this order, so that's going to leave us with 8 remaining. And then we can also see this other item that's on the order, and that actually has a negative availability. So we're going to have to go in and purchase some of that item from our vendor so that we can fulfill the sales order. So if we want to take a deeper look into this item, we can just go ahead and click here in this hyperlink, and it'll bring open an item vendor card, or an item card. And here you can see, this is how you can set up your inventory items. You can have pictures available and other description items. And we'll go ahead and we're going to focus today on planning. So here we can scroll down to this planning section, and you can see where you set up the reordering policy. So this is a great feature to have in Business Central. It's going to help you with all those planning needs that you have to make sure that you don't run out of inventory and that you have the right amount in stock. So here you can see my reorder quantity is going to be 20. I don't have order modifiers and other things at this time. But just to go ahead and get started, we'll go ahead and close this out. And then we're going to bring up another tool to help us reorder this and any other items that might be low on in our warehouse. So we're going to bring up what's called a requisition worksheet. And so you saw that I got to that just by going to this little light bulb up at the top. That's kind of a shortcut tool in Business Central where you can type in anything and it'll bring up the reports or the worksheets or the journals that are associated with that item that you've typed in. So here you can see I've got my requisition worksheet tool. So this is going to help with basically creating purchase orders based on those reordering policies that are in those inventory item cards. So here you can see the default just came up, but you know, maybe you have different worksheets for different seasons or different vendors. So you can set as many templates up as you want, and that might have your items already populated in there to help save you some time. But here we're going to go ahead and just use the default one that's blank, and we're going to go ahead and use the out-of-the-box functionality to help us find what we need to order. So we're going to go to Actions, Functions, and we're going to Calculate Plan. And so this feature is going to look at those item cards and basically see what's needed, and it's going to go ahead and populate those based on those reorder levels that I'd set. So here we can see I must be out of stock on a couple things, and it's going to go ahead and put the default quantities in that I need to order. And if we click on that line down below, you can see who the vendor is that it's set up to purchase that item from, just to give you a little bit more insight into what's going on this page. So here we can see we just have a couple items we're going to order. They're actually from just one vendor. They're both from First Up Consultants. So we'll go ahead and we're fine with what was suggested. If we wanted to, we could look at more forecasting options. But for the purposes of today, we're just going to go ahead and click on Process and then Carry Out Action Message. So that's just basically saying, yes, I want to create purchase orders for this. And here we have the option, we're going to print the order out. And so you'll see it'll create an actual purchase order document that we can send over to that vendor. So we'll just open it up quickly. The default is PDF document, and there it's showing the items that we want to purchase. So this is also created electronically in the system, as you can see, my lines are gone. So we'll just go ahead and go back to the purchasing section. And so here from the main menu, I'll just click on purchasing, purchase orders, and I'll see that this purchase order for First Up Consultants was created here. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and release this purchase order so that we can get it to the next level. Okay. So now it's pretty much ready to be invoiced and received when we get that. We can also take a look here at one of the functions of Business Central, which is to be able to edit in Excel. So here we can see, let's say we had, obviously we have several purchase orders, and maybe we're working on all of these at once. So we can go ahead and pull this into Excel, and maybe we want to edit some information for all of these at once so that we can kind of post those as a batch. So let's go ahead and sign in. So the nice thing about bringing some of this into Excel is, even though you're in another application, it's still requiring you to log in, so that security feature is there. So, if someone logged into Excel, they wouldn't be able to see things that weren't relative to their security role in Business Central. Okay, so here you can see my purchase orders were brought in, and like I said, maybe if you were going to be working on things like expected receipt date, you can go ahead and modify these all on the list here, and then you can go ahead and publish those right back to Business Central so that everybody who's using the solution has the insight into what to expect on, getting these purchase orders fulfilled. So that's just to give you a quick glimpse into some of the capabilities integrating with Excel. So we're going to go ahead and we'll receive that purchase order. So we'll go back into the system. We're going to go ahead and process this. We've received our vendor invoice. And we'll go ahead and post it. Oh, I guess I should say here, I'm going to back up a second and show these functions here. So under actions and warehouse, if you did want to create a warehouse receipt, if you did want to create an inventory, put away, or pick list, you can go ahead and do those from the screen as well. So we're going to go ahead and post this. And we'll receive those items, and it'll generate the invoice as well. So we can create that payable. It's going to create that payable in the system. Okay. So now that we've received those items, we can go back over to our sales order, and we can go ahead and fulfill that order. So let's go ahead and take a look at those lines again and make sure that we have everything that we need. Yep. We have 2 items there, and we have 20 chairs. So we can go ahead and post that document. Another option, if we didn't use that requisition worksheet, would have been to go right to actions, functions, and you can create a purchase document, create a purchase order right from the sales order. So that is another option in the system as well. So we'll go ahead and post this. And we will ship it and send the invoice to our customer. Now, if we go back to our screen, we should see that we've taken care of some of these orders, and Basically, we're moving everything through the system efficiently and being able to track it with our analytics on the main page. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and you can submit those now. And in the meantime, I can actually just run another report just to give you an idea of some of these reports that are available. You know, if you did want to create a picking list, there's all standard reports out of the box with Business Central. And, you know, the solution is mobile. So all the folks, if you do have a warehouse, they could use their mobile device, run a report, create things like picking lists right there from their device. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, please let us know.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we'll see you guys next week for the next webinar in this particular series. And if there are any GP users on the call, we have a GP tips and tricks. Our follow-up from the last one is going to be next Wednesday. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you sign up. You can find that on our website. And other than that, I just thank you all for being here. You take that survey, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.